Joining us now in studio is Republican candidate for Kentucky State Treasurer, Mark Metcalf. Mark, thanks for being here today.
It's an honor. Thanks for having me.
You betcha. What made you want to run for state treasurer?
Well, Kentucky borrows too much, it spends too much, it taxes too much, and it saves too little. I intend, through my candidacy, to advocate on behalf of Kentucky taxpayers. That's what made me want to run for this office. But secondly, we have woke interest groups, especially the banks located in New York and let's say Sacramento and Los Angeles, that want to rid us or get rid of our fossil fuels industry. We have a robust fossil fuels industry in Kentucky. I intend to protect coal, natural gas, and petroleum. We have a state law that says the treasurer shall report when businesses such as these investment banks determine that they are going to discriminate against Kentucky's fossil fuel industries. I'm supposed to report that as treasurer, and I intend to do that. I intend to be an advocate on behalf of our fossil fuels industry as well.
Is there anything more you can do besides that?
Well, I think that the first and foremost, the most important thing to do is identify. The second thing to do is to litigate if they will not allow Kentucky to continue with these businesses. And by that I mean bringing them into Kentucky courts, into federal and state court, and make them show how fossil fuels are inferior to the green technologies that have proven themselves unreliable. This past winter, in western Kentucky, we had rolling blackouts. Why? Because the green technologies didn't work. And now they're putting back online in the Tennessee Valley Authority natural gas in our power plants. Green technologies are unproven and unreliable, and I intend to push back against that.
You also mentioned taxes, and some candidates for governor are talking about eliminating the state income tax. What's your position on that?
Well, the General Assembly has already stated it intends to get rid of the income tax because it beats up on the generator of wealth in Kentucky. It's proven very successful in Texas, it's proven successful in Florida, it's proven successful in our neighbor to the south, Tennessee. We should be finding other ways to finance government, and one of those ways that the General Assembly has chosen is to use the service industries and the sales taxes, the occupational taxes to fuel the necessary functions of state government, and I agree with that.
With the primary coming up, a lot of attention being paid to the governor's candidates. Why do you think the state treasurer is such an important post? Well,
the state treasurer, by Constitution, receives and pays out all the money that comes into Kentucky state government. It's an independent office because the framers of the Constitution determined that they did not want a governor or other official in charge of the fiscal health of our state being the sole authority for receiving and paying out money. So the treasurer is an independent official and pays out what he or she finds as being a line item in a budget or determines not to pay those same things.
What do you feel separates you from the other candidates in the race?
The depth and breadth of my experience. I am a combat veteran of Iraq. I served as Garrison Command Judge Advocate at Victory Base Complex in Baghdad. We were in charge of 3,000 soldiers from Kentucky who we took into theater. Our commander stated he did not want to bring, he wanted to bring everyone home, and we brought everyone home. We did have casualties, certainly, but we brought everyone home safely. I've managed a very large piece of legislation at the Justice Department called the Help America Vote Act. It was the legislation that came in the wake of the 2000 presidential election when we had hanging chads in Florida. I handled that bill for the Justice Department. I litigated in the criminal division in the domestic security section against alien smuggling and against human trafficking. I was sent to Guantanamo to handle two terrorism cases, and when I returned, I was appointed to the U.S. Immigration Court in Miami, Florida. I've served as a state and federal prosecutor, as an assistant Commonwealth attorney here in Kentucky. I'm a 6-term county attorney. I've had the depth and breadth of experience in terms of being able to advise 7 fiscal courts back in Garrett County. we've been able to, I think, across the course of my representation, to save the county money. In fact, the county tasked me with doing a tax rebate 7 years ago, and we rebated back to our taxpayers more than $350,000.
What are you hoping to accomplish as state treasurer?
Well, number one, secure the integrity of Kentucky's tax dollars. Number two, ferret out waste and fraud, get rid of them wherever we find them, and prosecute them where it's appropriate. And the last thing is to, again, be an advocate on behalf of our fossil fuels industry to make sure that it remains safe and robust, and push back against those interests which would destroy it. Let me give you an example. Today in Harlan County, there are at least 6 mines going full tilt. Miners are making wages they haven't seen in years. The interests coming out of New York and, let's say, Sacramento, want to get rid of that. When these men and women get up every day, they go to business, they go to work, they don't look for any help other than the hand at the end of their own sleeve. And in the process of doing so, they're supporting their families. They're not getting government wages or government assistance. They're taking care of themselves. The Democrats call these same people polluters. We call them the backbone of America, and they need to be protected. They're just like the truck drivers. They're just like the people who lay brick and electrify homes and build homes. We need to be standing up for these people who work hard and ask for nothing other than to be left alone and to raise their families.
Okay, Mark, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.